Now, you know, Brooklyn's got Biggie. We know that hip-hop was born in the Bronx. But Beastie Boys Square is in Manhattan. Let the record show.
You know, we walk around these streets and we don't really think about who they're named after, right? But it makes me really happy to know that some kid on their way to school 50 years from now is going to pass by this and look up and be like, what the fuck is a Beastie Boy? Why did they get a square?
It's important to know about your city and the culture that makes the city what it is. And I can't think of any music group that's a bigger part of New York City than the Beastie Boys, you know, were.
And we're here in New York, and we grew up here in New York.
When I think of the Beastie Boys, I think of them as being part of the DNA of New York. They don't only rhyme and talk about New York, they're nostalgic about New York. They celebrate it. You know, I can't think of any other artist that is more tightly connected to New York than the Beastie Boys.
For Adam and I, the Lower East Side was this place, like that was the cool place that we wanted to go and hang out, and somehow the Lower East Side was gracious enough to have us and host us and let us see so much incredible music.
Rap's funniest and funkiest white act has a new production team, a new label, and a new album on the way called Paul's Boutique that proves they haven't been slacking off in the 3 years since their multi-platinum debut LP, Licensed to Ill.
These guys may live in LA, but they look like New York to us. The record marked the band's return to their roots, New York City.
We're just hanging out here where our roots are from, our ginseng roots.
You know, New York is always changing, but Ludlow and Rivington was, at that time, was just New York. It could be no other place. And they were New York, right?
You know, in a lot of ways, it's like the album is an acknowledgement of Paul himself and his efforts and his achievements, but it's also... And his unacknowledged contributions to the fashion styles of the b-boy community. Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
It's a shopper's paradise at Paul's Boutique, 758 Linden Boulevard, between Utica Avenue and East 51st Street in Brooklyn, specializing in Italian and European collection of men's clothing.
Mike D and I go back to 1978 or so. We've been friends for a long time. And I was a photographer. I'd studied photography in college. I was working for a photographer. Mike said, we have an idea for our next album cover, but we don't know how to do it. And so I said, well, tell me what it is. And he said, we want to do a 360 panorama of an intersection. And I said, I can do that.
So y'all got this idea. He's telling us, like,
We're going to use this camera that takes a 360-degree picture, and that's going to be the album cover.
how does Jaco just know about all these things? And we're always like, oh, that's cool. How the does he know about that? That's just super weird.
One of you guys really wanted to have more, like, to tie it in with the name of the record, with the store. And so had the idea of, like, decorating a store as being Paul's Boutique. And then we all brought and we decorated that store.
With our little knickknacks and trinkets from home.
They wanted something that would visually reflect the sound of the album, which is kind of a grab bag of all these different songs and sounds and music that they love. So that's a visual grab bag in the front. From the clothing to the banjo, there's a video cassette collection of some kind. You can see that Yauk is actually on his skateboard. He's wearing a red check jacket. Ad Rock is behind this man opening up his car. And then Mike is kind of frozen in time looking at me, probably saying, don't mess this up.
Hip-hop is from New York, and other places like New Orleans, they honor jazz. In Nashville, they honor country music. And I thought that New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop, should have some type of landmarks to show where hip-hop has come from.
I want to thank Leroy McCarthy. This whole thing was his idea. You know, he pushed and pushed to make it happen just for the love of rap music. You know, and thank you. We appreciate it. It's fucking cool.
Oh man, this is almost a 10-year journey to get Beastie Boys Square completed and dedicated. I started in October of 2013 with a petition.
You could not go to City Hall without Leroy saying, don't forget Beastie Boys Square. I was up in the Bronx, Leroy said, don't forget Beastie Boys Square. I went to my local bodega, Leroy said, don't forget Beastie Boys Square. We are here now because of him.
The perseverance was stronger than the resistance. And, you know, you gotta fight for your right.
10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think they're the soul of New York, especially this area of the city. You know, I think when you think of hip hop, you think of New York, and when you think of New York hip hop, you think of Beastie Boys.
I want to say thank you to everybody for all the love that you've just given and put out there for Adam Yauch. It's for the MCA Day, and all the love you've shown for Adam Yauch it means a lot to us. So thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.